Welcome back, denizens of the Omniverse, for episode 6 of season 1 of Interview with the Vampire. This is our penultimate episode of the season, I believe, if I am correct. Yeah, it's gone by so fast. Real fast, actually. I'm excited to see where this goes, man. Especially with all these complex questions and scenarios we found ourselves in with these characters, and just how, you could see how this tale, this desire to get the story out, and especially the truth out about everything that Louis gone through, is really starting to kind of like culminate here, especially with the complexities and all the layers that come with Claudia and her entanglements with these two, and where we just left off with that bit of the story, with Lestat dragging him to what appeared to be his end as she was pleading for his life there. Obviously, we know he lives. We still don't really know what happens to her. We don't know what happens to Lestat. I have to assume, though, given that everything that's transpired in the real world, given the fact that he's got a whole ass show coming out, that Lestat doesn't die here. But it doesn't really tell us what happens. I imagine that there's going to be some. The giving in, who knows? Maybe that's a prequel. That could have been how he even got to this point, because he's got a very veiled and protected and guarded past. And to be fair, I don't know which it is. If it is a follow-up to this, or maybe even like a precursor. So I guess that's on the table. I wasn't really thinking about it last episode, but that is a possibility. Anyway, I'm excited to get into this. So with that said, let's get ready to strap in. If you want to see the Pointe reaction, as always, you can watch this without all the edits we got to do to get this stuff up on YouTube. You can check that out over on Patreon. You also get early access up to 4 weeks, depending on what tier you're subscribed to. Also, submit your own comments, questions, or fun facts for you to read at the end of these episodes over there as well. You also get to decide what shows we watch, what movies we watch, all kinds of stuff. It's just a great way to support the channel and help us do things we do over here. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate Majora's reaction. To at least leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if not already, because it really helps these videos out. Huge shout out to the team over at Prepper for helping me edit down these highlights for you guys here on YouTube. And with that all said in the way, let's get ready to hop into episode 6, Like Angels Put in Hell by God. Here we go.
A few shattered vertebrae, a punctured lung, blind in one eye for 5 weeks.
Honestly, I would have expected much, much worse. So he didn't kill him, at least. So what happened after the fact, though?
Excruciating pain was the proof I was still alive.
Did he leave? Is he still here? Claudia's even still alive. Okay.
He could fly.
Kind of surprised.
He said it was more like floating, arising at will, propelling in a direction by the decision.
So yes.
Doc, did you know
So
there's a
flying.
flying vampire apocalypse coming your way?
Vampires do not possess the cloud gift.
Oh,
With few
wait, what?
exceptions, only the most ancient of us have it.
Huh.
I do not discuss my patients with anyone but the patients themselves.
Interesting. So there's some. I guess that makes
That
sense.
is not my voice,
He's the personal physician to the deputy prime minister.
and I am not here.
The vampire Louis de Pontelac.
He's officially off the record.
No.
Is your medicine taking?
It's cold and itchy. Thanks for asking.
Are you still dreaming about our first meeting, Daniel?
I love Daniel, dude. He's great. I love his commentary. Maybe
So
not
for 20
then.
years, you lived with
Come
the
on,
vampire
maybe you
Lestat,
learned.
and you didn't know he had the flying gift.
The cloud gift.
He did it when he turned to you in your passionate embrace a couple of times. He did. Just not that
I
high.
suppose he thought if he exposed all his power to me, I would never feel his equal.
Ah, okay.
Time, officer. It's not his fault. Classic Stockholm.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc?
I am not here.
Can we be forgiven if we do not forgive others ourselves?
It's a good point, but I do think it's some, there are lines
Lestat had disappeared after that awful night, vanished out of a profound sense of shame he would later confess to.
Oh, well, thank you for the spoilers!
Since Claudia and I were in no mood to receive his apologies, I made Pride my blanket.
So it's just them here
She
now.
dedicated all her energy to my rehabilitation.
I love how all things considered, oof. I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Oh. I like how at the end of all of this, despite all of the crazy brutality, the murders and all of this, this really is the story of a broken relationship, or a strained and complicated one. Like, you could remove all the other elements of it and you can be like, this is the story of my cousin. This is the story of me, you know? I will say on the forgiveness topic, it is a little bit different though. I will say when you're immortal, because I think given enough time that maybe you could make up for some things, but like in a regular human life, there are some things I feel like, at least for the person that was victimized, I don't think they owe you forgiveness ever for certain things, for sure. It doesn't mean that the other, should they feel deeply remorseful, still needs to try and carry that without the reward of it if they really meant it. Oh, well, looky who it is.
Claudia, hello. I've been calling quite often. I don't know if the operator is patching me through correctly.
Oh, no, they are. Probably.
I bought something from Louis' favorite bookshop.
Oh, what is
Flowers,
that?
Extremely rare, 15th century.
It's gorgeous.
No one here wishes to speak with you.
Well, I know he's upstairs. I can see his silhouette. Perhaps we should let him decide if he wants to see me or not.
No one's gonna walk by and be like, the fuck? Why was a casket just launched out of the house?
How do you know?
Because she's dead.
How do you know?
She got a grave, she got a tombstone.
So do
I mean, that... Yeah, she's got you there. In this world, you never really truly know. Could be a Nicholas Flamel situation. He's not giving up. I'll give him that.
This one's yours. I'm back in town permanently.
Were you gone?
Across the river in Algiers. Louis, I don't know what possessed me that night.
3 years ago. That night 3 years ago, he means.
She's holding on to that.
Changed. But nothing without both of you.
Show don't tell.
If you want me to go away, just say so. I'll obey you. I'll live your life forever. This silence is cruel.
Give him a second. Damn, hole.
We burned more gifts than bodies in that decade, and Lestat's relentless determination began to crack my considerable armor.
I would like to, again, because like this story's not told from Lestat's point of view. It's from his perspective, and obviously he's a little softy, as they've dubbed him the mama in here. And I love that Claudia is so protective of mama in this situation, especially given that Papa beat ass last time, just went off the rails. I mean, crippled him for multiple, months? Yeah. Forgiveness, yeah. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done there to be taken seriously. And I think in a lot of situations, too, in a relationship like this, too, like Claudia or the child would be the one that's like harder to really get over that hurdle. Love is blinding, man. Love is blinding. And like, in a lot of times when we have like a situation that is so conditional, especially given the fact that they're two vampires and they're the only two vampires that either of them know other than Claudia, you know, it's not like your pool is all that high in your choices, and you feel resigned to settle maybe even for what you have or had, or maybe even deserve. Maybe some part of you might even feel that you deserved what happened to you. Sometimes you'll just rationalize what it is to just settle back into what you know versus trudge on into the unknown, whatever that might be next. And he can say things end on end. He can buy things. He can send gifts end on end on end. A gift, a purchase, materialization, or material objects rather, I mean, that's not. I mean, that's not. I mean, that's cool. That's nice. Great. You've got money. You did the thing. That's not the work that needs to be put in. That's not the display. That's not. I mean, for doing that consistently for 3 years is a lot. Where I was going with that is the way Lestat's always been up until this point. Like and maybe I've been harsher on him than I should be. I don't know. This is just how I've read everything. Like he's very much so like kind of a spoiled child. He likes things his way. He sees the world his way. He even like treats people, Louis even included, as possessions. You know, that whole like posturing to be like, hey, I'm being serious right now. You can't actually step above me. You know, that whole thing. Like it just kind of reeks of that control. And when you start to realize you don't have that, it's hard to discern when an act of kindness is just because they lost the thing that belonged to them. Like they want them back. Is it because of love? Is it a spurnful thing? Is it an ego? Like, is it like a jab or a crack to the ego? Is it you don't want anybody else having them out there? You know, there's a lot of different ways you could read into that. I'm wondering how much of that is genuine regret versus like the absence of that relationship, the absence of Louis, or is it the absence, or is the fact that he just doesn't have that anymore? I don't know I'm not even sure if I'm explaining this right in the way I'm talking about it right now. God, I'm trying to think if there's like a better way for me to like express what I'm trying to say, at least with this. Like if you're not the one to cut something off or end something, sometimes there's this desire to fight for it, to get it back because it wasn't on your terms. You couldn't control those terms. I don't know. Whatever. Does he truly mean it or not?
But in the spring of 1937, one broke through. He had written it himself in the music of the hour.
Oh.
His first composition in 100 years.
Oh, well, look at that.
Rashid, please play the song in question for Mr. Malloy and the doctor.
I'm not here.
The doctor who's not here.
He had engaged a local record company, and when the musicians they hired proved unsatisfactory, he played all the instruments himself.
That's his voice.
Yep.
He pressed only one album, had the master recordings destroyed. You're listening to an inferior re-recording now.
Oh, interesting.
He had made the near-perfect Valentine with one flaw.
6 years of begging. You think a song's gonna get a rise out of me?
This her sing?
It's a clear
Oh!
voice. I wanted no obstacle to the lyric.
See, it's that disregard or intent.
Louis is soaking wet.
I swim fast and I drown.
You swam the Mississippi to find me.
I hate you.
As you should.
What a fucking move. What a fucking diabolical move. To use the voice of the other woman. And there is the believability that no, there's really not, is there? He's like, I needed a voice that was up to my standards, and she was that voice. There's no way it's that. There's no way he would have not calculated the reaction, and it guaranteed an interaction between the two of them. I think that was the real thing. That was the real fish, the real bait, the real reel him in. So you would notice that detail and come furiously, or maybe he would hope, would come furiously to come confront him about it all while they're mid-coitus at the moment too. He's such an asshole. But you can't, God damn it. You can't at least it's hard not to be entertained by his fucking shenanigans, dude. Wow. I mean, but on that re-recording, that's not her. The one we're listening to currently it was him singing, but in the memory, it was her. So maybe at some point he re-recorded it himself. I'm a little confused on the way Louis was talking about that aspect of it, on what we were currently listening to versus what was being listened to in the moment in the recounting. Either way, though, God, that's crazy.
Pleasure never meeting you, Mr. Malloy.
He said to no one.
The vampire bond. There is no human equivalent. A bond like that makes you believe there are only two of you on the planet. Rule number 4.
Kill Antoinette.
Rule
Antoinette is my own private.
Affair.
Nope.
She's a child, interfering in the romantic lives of her parents.
You shut your mouth.
Maybe, but I'm not your child anymore.
Hell
That's
yeah.
Rule number 5. I'm your sister, or that's the door.
Rule number 6.
I know I'm doing this for him. I wouldn't want to confuse you.
Rule number 6. No lies. For instance, if you can fly, tell us you can fly.
Grand proclamations and portentous looks. Go on. Ask your questions.
I mean, yes.
I'll answer them.
Did you have anything to do with Paul's death?
Oh,
No.
I like that's the first thing that he jumped to.
Something I always...
Never.
Ugh. Hey, I know I posited that. I had somebody spoil this moment in the comments on Patreon that actually got confirmed and addressed. But you can't, like, the way everything was framed and set up, I'm glad that at least that's acknowledged. And believably for him to ask that. I do like that came back around, but that it took until now for that to come up. It is kind of interesting that he never asked him that prior to this. After everything they've been through and the cavorting they've done, for this to have been something that's been in his head for sure that entire time, but only left his lips now is honestly kind of surprising. But yeah, I did have it spoiled that that is confirmed later, and that was like what I think it was like when episode 3 or 4 I had recorded, I think, and I had somebody outright just confirm it that, oh no, they say this later. And I'm like, God damn it. That's a spoiler. Like if it's anything, any time before it's revealed, especially if it's something if it's a misunderstanding, that's one thing. If it's something that's actually like revealed later on, that's a spoiler. So be mindful. Some people, what might be a spoiler to you, I don't know. Apparently it's different for different people, but that's a spoiler. Minor one, thankfully. At this point, not truly all that relevant, but that if that was something bigger, something larger, well, don't worry, they confirm it's this down the road, and like it's a huge thing, like that's just dangerous, especially for somebody watching the show for the first time like this. You know, we want to untaint as much of that as possible. Thankfully, I feel like this was like, I mean, it was important earlier on, and I do think it's important moving on, but I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it's a huge thing, but because everything looked the way it looked.
His name was Magnus. He took me from my room in Paris. He kept me for a week, locked in a room full of corpses. But they all looked like me. My coloring, my physique.
Oh.
My own eyes staring back at me from rotting faces.
Oh, so he had a type.
He fed on me every night, and then he'd put me back in the tower
Interesting.
with that lookalike corpse. I thought for sure I'd be one of them, but instead he turned me into this. No rules, no counsel.
I wonder if any of that has anything to do with his own vanity.
I can't drink hot blood. I can't feed on others. It's why I don't particularly like being abandoned.
Kill Antoinette.
Years accumulated in the small city were catching up to us.
Oh, Antoinette, man, you stepped into the wrong situation. What the fuck is that?
Cowardly warnings suggesting we were no longer welcome. The work would be convincing the two to find room again for each other.
I'd like to ask a question if that's amenable to you both.
Oh my god, don't be shitty.
Of course I do. This is the new paradigm. The lambs for the bosserons.
An apt metaphor. I always took you for a dog, Lestat.
Ask the question.
Is it still 4 legs for Louis and 2 legs for Claudia?
I eat what I eat, she eats what she eats. Respect our differences.
It's always made me feel loathsome.
You don't actually need it.
See, there it is. It's an air of superiority when you say that.
I agree. I know you don't mean to, but I feel the same.
Oh, on this we agree.
Every night we hunt, and every night these feelings arise. It breeds resentment.
I don't want that.
When we hunt human. We are a vampire. We should not.
Hey, they're trying at least.
Do you think you could try a little harder to get on with him? He's trying. Teaching the piano, the chessboard, isn't he?
He hasn't taught me to fly.
It's just not something you can teach. You're born with it or you're not.
I don't think that's true.
Hello? We were wondering where you were.
It's his nature to lie.
Claudia?
Lestat.
Is it an obituary? Oh! Bleh. Oh, both.
Remember, you like souvenirs?
In the paper and I'll keep the ring.
We should really think about repairing that mantle.
No,
Enjoy living in a ruin, do you?
we leave the damage so we never forget the damage.
I like that.
One sob story about his birth, and you're back to eating from his hand.
Emerald's sincerity and humility cannot wear it any longer. She's just stubborn.
Being the mediator is exhausting in a situation like this, where two people just cannot get along.
She's grown very protective of me. That's what this is. Why it's hard.
There's a darkness in her that wasn't there before.
Give her a little time.
I mean, the Bruce situation would do that to a person, but also what you did.
In many ways, they were more like each other than they wanted to admit.
Tell us about your first love, Nicky.
Nicholas.
Louis said that you called him Nicky. That's the song you wrote for him. Do you write songs for all your lovers? I think this one might be better than yours, Louis. Does that mean you loved Nicky more than you love Louis?
Oh my god.
It won't work.
I ask these questions because I'm trying to understand you better, Lestat.
And I once again put you in check.
Did Nicky kill himself like your maker Magnus?
Oh, the music box is.
Checkmate.
I'm sorry for your losses, Lestat.
Oh, it's you who lost, Claudia. For the many hundredth time, I admire your steadfast pursuit of a game you clearly have no acumen for.
Master's had so much loss in his life, Lord couldn't
Hey.
ask him to bear anymore.
You're ugly when you act like that.
Better ugly than blind.
She's an affected,
Hey.
self-absorbed, nasty little creature who's fooled herself into thinking she's smarter than she is, and she is poisoning Louis against me.
Wait. Oh, you son of a bitch. Are you kidding me?
He broods, she snipes. That's why I need you. You fortify me against them. You're like me. You like to laugh.
What I'm sure he hates most about Claudia is how much, yeah, she is like him. And she's not relenting. She's not taking his game. She's not taking his guff.
Should go away this
Oh.
New York, Chicago.
Wait, I don't know if I don't think he's turned her. So whose finger was that then?
Don't be ridiculous. There's no place for me other than New Orleans.
New Orleans? How am I supposed to make a career here? Who's gonna hire a singer who don't sing? Who's a cripple?
Okay, so it was her finger.
I didn't mean to make you mad.
I love you, Lestat.
I love you too.
This guy, dude. This guy.
Perfectly consistent
Yeah.
with his nature. He'd been told to do something, and brat that he was, didn't like being told what to do.
That's what I've been saying.
He's the father of lies. If that's the kind of desperate trash he wants to love, then let him have it.
He doesn't love her.
You heard him say it.
You can say a bunch of things.
He wanted us to discover it.
But why?
Because he's all kinds of fucked up. Because he would have killed her in a second if he thought I'd take him as he is.
So you ain't gonna tell him that you know about it?
What difference would it make?
That's so heartbreaking, man.
There's a train leaves every night for New York. We could hide out in Harlem for a few, then hop on a boat. Take us anywhere we want to go.
Anywhere sounds like nowhere.
The fact that they're having a conversation while they're getting it on is kind of wild.
Give us 100 more years of this. Taking anything we want, killing anything in front of us. No one says shit about it. I can see us just like him. I can see it, Claudia.
Just thinking that, well, it'd be him just with
Train's
time.
leaving in an hour. Get off that bench. When he hurts you again, and he will, come find me. I'll be in.
Prague, Bucharest, Varna, Silistria, right?
Ploiashti.
Can never get that one to tumble out, right?
This is heartbreaking. But there's a lot of families like this, man.
You don't need me. You think you do? You don't. You're smarter now. You see trouble coming a mile away.
The thing about needing to leave the nest to get away from everything that's going on, but then the fear of those that you're leaving behind, but you still can't let yourself be trapped in that very same cage.
Then the lights of a city depot.
And one resigning that's all that they are allotted.
This is the part of my story back in San Francisco where you said, make me a vampire now. I'd give it to you now. Still had time to watch your daughters marry.
And divorce, die.
I mean, they can die though, right?
May I be excused, Mr. Dulac?
Are you planning on slapping
There's got to be
me again,
some way
Daddy?
of being permanently ended. So if you got exhausted of it all, maybe you could just choose your own time.
Thought about the walking cane and pile of
Yeah,
ash
that.
Paul had forever ruined Grace's, and I would not do the same to Claudia on the anniversary of her escape. And so I endured my way home, back to the undeserving Lestat.
Listen here.
What is it?
Germany's invaded Poland.
Oh, shit.
Since when do you care about humanity?
Well, I don't. But to think our sister, impulsive tot that she is, was on her way to holiday in Europe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, what the fuck?
We'll have to make it up to her stateside somehow.
The hell happened there? What?
Tickets, please.
What the fuck?
You're riding the New York Limited. Next stop, Birmingham, Alabama.
What in the world? Why?
Claudia!
Let me go, Lestat.
I'm afraid I can't allow that. Fortunate for our family, when I put my mind to it, I can hear the thoughts of other vampires at a very great distance.
Oh. He heard it from Bruce. Oh!
What he did to you was in very poor taste.
That is an understatement.
If something like that happened to you again, Louis would never forgive himself. Back in your cage, sweetheart.
I was so afraid he was going to do something to that dog, man.
We endure each other for Louis' happiness. So come home and make him happy.
This is disgusting.
Because if you try this again, Claudia, I won't snap your leg, defile your pocket, and zoom off on a motorbike. I'll turn your bones to dust.
I've been having a thought the last few days, Louis.
Yeah, what's that?
I think he killed Magnus. I think the vampire made him a slave, and so he killed him. Killed him before he knew all the things he could have known.
Sounds about right.
We're not slaves, maybe mindless accomplices.
No, we're his slaves, and I will free us both.
You're going to pound and mimic me until I grow empathetic. Is that your strategy tonight?
Yeah, he's trapping them right now. They're just pawns to his pleasure. I don't know if he can love in the way that they do, in one other than one loves their
I don't
possessions.
like what you're feeling right now. You love me? Then listen to me. I beg you.
I'm going to kill him. And I want to tell you something else now.
He's retreating.
A secret of all secrets between you and me.
No, you're giving up bishops and knights for pawns.
That's the thing he doesn't understand.
No, that can be.
The secret is,
Yep.
Louis,
He underestimates the people that he thinks are beneath him.
you want to kill him too, and you will enjoy doing it.
You've won.
Never thought there's any value to the pawns.
Your pawn finished the game.
Good night, Lestat. Good night, Louis.
Spoiled, selfish, thankless,
It was inevitable.
heedless, disagreeable.
He's such a fucking petulant child, dude. Jesus.
We were going to kill Lestat.
Is he falling asleep right now or is he dying right
Rashid,
now?
are you awake?
I can be.
I think the medication has overwhelmed our boy.
I would gladly wake him.
No, we can pick it up again tomorrow. But fetch a cover, would you? Let him be warm with his dreaming.
What an interesting way to play us out. Oh, is this rewinding? It is. It's back when they first met.
Hello. Hi. I'm a writer, a journalist mostly.
Get the boy whatever you want.
I'll have a grasshopper. Louis de Pointe the Lac.
Damn, committed that to memory after one glance.
I do interviews mostly. You know, I could interview you. You see, I look for people in the cracks. You know, not a cop or a politician. Any asshole can do that.
I like the way this guy talks just like him. Inflections, this is a good, like, replication.
I have what you're looking for. High quality.
You an art.
The fact that you just...
I want to interview you.
fun.
I mean, if something happens, you know, I'm cool, but yeah,
Okay.
I really want to interview you.
Take it as it comes.
Take it as it
Okay
comes.
with you? Would you like to join us?
Oh.
You go ahead, have your fun.
Oh. Yo. Oh. Oh, interesting. Oh. Hey. Oh, god damn it. Hold up. I want to go back to that. Son of a bitch. It didn't give me any time to like. There we go. He's got a beautiful voice. That was short and sweet, but yeah. All right, there we go. Damn, man. What a heavy episode. Really highlighting the desperate need for control of any given situation that Lestat has. Everything, every gift, every interaction, every placation, everything was a calculated chess move of his own to maintain a sense of control over everything else. And because of how old he is, how long he's waited, all these years, a few weeks, 3 years is nothing to him to draw this out. You know, lying about Antoinette, faking her death to make it seem like he was compromising. You know, the gifts, the little bit he was supposedly giving up for the rest of them. All of it was just a good old song and dance because he's playing their game. He needs to keep his things. And whether he likes Claudia or not, he made her and he sees her as his and a tool for Louis' happiness. So when she's going off, it's like, I'm not letting him fall into that pit trap that he was in the last time you left. I not know what happened. You know, just like when she would, you know, follow him when he would step out, and she was the one that always found up with the truth. And then even when they found out that he was still seeing Antoinette, even though he had told them that he wasn't, that was her going out of the way to keep tabs on him. And it's just like that's why I think he just resents her so much, because one, he wants all of this to himself. He never wanted a third in the family unit at all. He wanted Louis all to himself. But once she entered the mix, once she became Louis' sister, daughter, whatever, you know, that attention got fixated off of him. And he didn't. He never liked that. And she's a strong personality. She's unlike Louis, a little less resistant to giving in, a little less forgiving, a little more rough around the edges, scrappy even. Is not willing to take Lestat's bullshit and, you know, let it fall off her back, man. She's fighting him at every turn, and he doesn't like it. He cannot take his own reflection, is what I'm seeing here. And she may be perfectly right about gleaning into his past and that little sob story that he gave. Maybe some part of that is true. Maybe he was hardened over time, or maybe that was just exactly what he wanted them to hear. I would not put it past him to be a good actor in this day and age after his time in the arts, after all of these centuries or decades, however long he's actually been alive. We don't really know. I don't think we could ever really know. And the fact that she wanted to leave again, and he, one, slaughtered the people on that train, and then made it known that she can't leave. It's just like, everything's got to be on his terms. He needs control absolute over everything. It goes back to the earlier conversations where he was trying to mold Louis into being the type of vampire that he is, the perfect partner. He wants a reflection, but one that's not going to fight him. He wants someone to be exactly who he wants them to be, as a perfect reflection of himself. It's what his master did to him, really, with all those bodies of people mirroring this idealistic version of a partner. You know, it's like all these bodies. I believe that. You know, there's got to be something like life altering about being in a room full of dead people that look exactly like you, as this person's looking for the perfect fit. And I wouldn't put it past him that after going through that, did something very similar himself. And like Claudia here, I probably wouldn't put it past him that he probably also found a way to kill his master, that is his creator, his maker. And now the cycle is repeating itself because of his own machinations. He's just falling in the same footsteps, whether he knows it or not. And, you know, he wants to be in control. He needs to be in control. He's trying to even his giving them control is a controlled way of him allowing them to just think they have more control. But the thing is, Claudia is not about to take this sitting down. Louis might, without Claudia's involvement or pushing. You know, he may have never even considered anything of the sort either, but it looks like they've kind of both maybe made it to this point together after all of this, after all of his lies, after all of his outbursts, after all of this, whatever. Like, it's just like, yeah, like, it's just, I don't know, like, part of me wanted to not, like, just, you know, to give him a bone, to give him some leeway, some clarity of understanding, but then, just like with Louis, every time we give him an inch, we learn more and more that, like, he just seemingly isn't changing. There's no desire to change. He's just trying to regain control of the situation and regain control of his toys, his property, and that's all it's been up until this point. Question is now, do they actually go through with it? Do they actually try to take him out? And whether they succeed or not, I wonder if that last final serious push, I mean, either they do it or maybe realizing that it comes to that point, maybe he leaves for his own self-preservation. I don't know. That's a direction I could see it going. I don't know, man. That was scary. It got real scary, man. Lestat is a scary motherfucker, and I feel so heartbroken for them. And again, remove the vampire element to this, and this is a domestic tale of a broken relationship, a broken family under the head of an abuser, a narcissistic, even nihilistic at some point abuser like this, and the way that Louis just kind of submits to avoid further confrontation, but also tries to let her go when she's the only thing really even that he actually draws happiness from, but he can't let her be chained to this cage or trapped in this cage, shackled to him. So he's letting her fly the coop, but then fucking Lestat's intervening because he's like, no, I need him to be happy. This is going to be a happy home. We're going to be all happy together. Get the fuck in this cage. This is my game. I made you. You know, you didn't even want me. Well, you're mine. Don't give a shit. You know, it's just like, fuck, man. It's terrifying. But this is shit that happens in real life, man. I've known people in similar situations with people just like him, which is probably one of the main reasons why I colored him so much so that way earlier on. And sometimes I can go into something with a lens like this and like use that predilection to really like isolate them. And I really tried, I think, over this, at least in this episode, I'm not so sure about last episode, but I've been trying over the course of the season to give him some grace and not paint him with that brush. But then, you know, he keeps just showing his true colors, man. God damn it, dude. So good, man. Him coming out of the train, just cackling, putting on that fake accent and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. He's such a fucking showman. God, I was so scared in that scene for both of them. He's so like one, he's just so sassy and bratty in this way that makes him kind of disarming. But when there's a fire lit under him, when he's having one of his outbursts, sometimes it is kind of like a petulant child just kind of rattling off. But then you have scenes like that where he gets legitimately terrifying. Or when last episode, when he was just laying into Louis, man. That's the scary thing about these situations, man. You never know. You just never know sometimes, man. Fucking crazy. God, everything. I love that it was also framed around the chessboard. Every time it came back to it with Claudia, still kind of figuring out his game. And then by the end of this, beating him in the end with the pawns, no less. He's like, oh, sacrificing another. He's like, oh, the rook, oh, the knight, the queen, protect the queen. Everything was about all of the big pieces. Like, that's where he puts all of his value. That's how he sees himself as one of those pieces. He thinks everybody else is a pawn. So when she beat him, after learning his game, his strategy, the way he thinks, getting inside his head without actually being able to get inside his head, she beat him with the things that he sees as inferior, which is them, which is people, the people they hunt, everybody but himself. The superiority complex that he's this infallible thing that will get his way at the end of the day, no matter what, or however long he's got to wait, that he will win. And she beat his ass with these pawns. And the fact that he's goated about beating these chess players of renown and all this and that, and he lost in this way because he is so blind to those who he sees as little people, to just these pieces to be sacrificed on the board. And then when she didn't even give him that satisfaction of closing out the game, and he just fucking went off. Good shit, man. Good on Claudia. She's awesome. Ah, God. All right, let's see what you guys have to say about this one. This is an interesting episode. All right, we got Lee here. This is more of a fact that leads into a question. The reason Anne Rice wrote Claudia as 5 in the book is because she was dealing with the grief of her own daughter, who passed away at 5 years old from leukemia. She was aged up to 11 in the film and then 14 in the show. My question is, how do you think those ages differ, and how her personality and behavior, especially regarding her realization that she does not age physically, might be portrayed based on those specific points in life? Interesting. So that makes a lot more sense about why the character was written the way they were in the original book for Anne, as a way of, like, okay, if I could have preserved her that death, you know, she would have had to think about that process. What would that be like if she did give immortality to a 5-year-old? You know, that'd be her way of hanging on to a daughter rather than having to reconcile with the loss. But then you probably have to follow that logical chain of events forward. And for somebody who's physically 5 forever, but mentally growing in that way, that's crazy. Like, we're talking about 11 and 14 and stuff like that. That's still like a difficult transition to go through, but like, imagine being like, I can't even imagine what that would be like to even have to live in a body like that. It reminds me of, like, what is it? There's baby doll, what was her name? There's a character in Batman. She's a child actress, but she's like got this disease that makes her look forever a child, but she's like, what, 30 something, but she looks like a toddler. It makes me think of that, like that whole being trapped in that way. It's just, I don't know. And then, like, you change that. It's the same thing, but like in a very different light when you go to 11, when you go to 14. And it does invite, I think 11 and 14, especially given the world we live in, invites a lot of conversation around that, the uncomfortability of that age in particular, and being on the twilight. There's one thing, I think, obviously there's a completely different nightmare of being trapped in a 5-year-old's body for your entire life than to be stuck in this. I mean, they're both bad, but like to be stuck on like the precipice like on the cusp of being an adult. Well, I mean, not 11, but like 14 when you're a teenager, when you're just at 14, well, you're just over the cusp of puberty. And then you're like, you could see adulthood over there. Like you could see it on the horizon. You're getting closer and closer and closer, but you can't reach it ever. And you're stuck in this fucking middle ground. That's got to be some kind of torture in and of itself. Hell, at 11, you're not even a fucking teenager yet. And at 11, you may not even hit that cusp. So you're even like in this other, it's like, it's almost the same thing, but the other direction where you're like, you could probably see it, but it's like not even in your grasp yet. Like, I don't even know what that could do to you. As far as psychologically, but understanding why she wrote Claudia the way she did in the book makes a lot of sense. And I think for the conversations at play in the show specifically, and probably even in the movie, I probably need to rewatch the movie to really kind of talk on that one a little bit more. But like to dive into the concept of adulthood, of maturation, of perception, of reality, of growth, of coming of age, and all these different things when you're locked and frozen in a particular way, when you have this kind of divine, well, not divine intervention impede your life or artificially even continue it past where it was meant to end, and what kind of hell that could be like. It's really interesting. Each one of them brings their own little caveats to it, but that's a whole like thesis you could probably go down for each one of those, as far, or just the entire topic in general could be an essay that we do not have the time for this. For me, the probably the intelligence to really kind of really dive into the roots of all of that. That's just a wild topic in general too, given the nature of the show. But having that perspective on it is interesting. I think that it does frame a lot about that, especially as a writer, giving yourself a vehicle to, cope with a loss. You see that a lot in different things too, and that's a heartbreaking thing to go through as well. And yeah, and then we got Valentine. Claudia has been such a dynamic character from the moment she was introduced. Has your feelings changed about her? And is there, if any way, that she has grown that you see / enjoy? Yes, she is definitely, out of everybody, been the most dynamic character. I think you put it very, very, very poignantly, because from her introduction to where she is now, she's changed the most. Louis really hasn't been changed as a person much at all by his vampirism. The way he carries himself in life really is the thing that's changed the most. Him and his values have not shifted all that much. Neither with Lestat either. Lestat's been unchanging. We're just seeing more and more of the mask that he puts on fade away. Claudia, though, from inception, has been an ever-changing character, especially from the time that she was brought in to now. Yeah, she has noticeably grown. Obviously not physically, but you can see mentally how she's adapted, how she's learned. When she first turned, she was still very at the age when she turned, but now she's like this calculating, imposing figure who is like, in spite of her physical hindrance, has chosen to educate herself by going out and seeing the world, reading about the world. She's not allowing, if all she can grow is her mind, that is what she is doing. She's, where Lestat comes in here, like, I love that Louis called him out on it a while back when he, like, you read, like, the first little bits of a book, you get bored, and then you pass it off as if you've read the thing. Like, he presents smarter than he is because it's all about image for him. Whereas she is actually, like, taking in all of this. He hasn't even bothered, the way he's talked about it, to really go into their histories or whatever, and she's actively seeking this out. She's trying to, if she has all this time in the world, she's going to understand what she is, and she's trying to, as well as gain back some autonomy in her life for her and for Louis. If he's not going to do it himself, she's also going to do that. She's been such a catalyst for a lot of the conflict we've had in the last couple of episodes, especially. And it's wild to see, because at this point, hell, in just this episode, there was growth, like just alone, like from the 2 different times we saw them playing chess to her understanding him in and out and beating his ass. Like, even in just this episode, if you look at it, like, there was growth just from this. But, you know, where's that all going to lead? Once they realize that he's not going to let them take control of the game, they're going to try to, I guess, they're going to presumably try to take him out and remove him from the board. You know, the pawns are going to checkmate the king here. So, yeah, she's most certainly grown in a lot of ways. It's been a lot of fun watching that, actually. Like, I can understand, like, I have a short, I can almost relate to Lestat in the way that when she was first turned at that age, when she was just this ball of immature energy, like, that would exhaust me so fast. But God, she's been such a delightful character to watch grow. Like, she was frustrating earlier on in that way that, like, oh shit, like a child that is just out of control would be. But she's quickly become like this ball of fire that is just not settling with all this shit going on. In the way that Louis just kind of resigned himself to the state of his life, settling for the life that he has, thinking maybe that's all he deserves at this point. You know, it's just like, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun watching. They're all so unique in their role, their position. But then she comes in like a fucking wrecking ball. I don't know. She's a fantastic character, though. Real curious to see how this all goes. One, and what the fuck is season 2? You know? Then we got Tammy. First, can we just talk about Sam Reed's singing voice as Lestat? Haunting and sublime. Those are 2 very good descriptors for it, because it is beautiful, but because it's Lestat's voice, it does have this air of unease to it. Like, it's beautiful, it's alluring, but something about it, because I know and can hear that's Lestat's voice, makes me kind of uncomfortable. Second, Anne Rice's characters are always so layered and complex. Now that you've had time to sit with our 3 main characters a while, what would you say is the most positive character trait and the most negative character trait for them? Lestat, Louis, and Claudia. Lestat's, okay, let's talk about positive trait. I think, like, confidence, in almost to a fault, his confidence. He's assured of himself, almost too sure of himself, and I do think that is a fault as well. Hell, it may even be both. His most positive effect, because I think Louis could use a lot more confidence and steadfastness in himself. I think Lestat, like, he's confident, he knows who he is, he knows what he wants, and he's not really afraid of any of that. Downside of that, I think the most negative aspect of that is that when things do not go his way, when he loses control, he is a little bitch. He fucking throws a hissy fit, and that's when he gets scary. But they're all kind of predicated on the same thing, right? So when those things about himself that he holds on such high regard are not working for him, he flips out like a child. So it's almost both his most positive and most negative trait, because I do think there can be too much of one, and he's definitely got too much of the other, which is why a rubber bands the other direction when that thing snaps. Which is where Louis, like he's got so much forgiveness in his heart, and I think that he's still got so much of his humanity. I think. Room for forgiveness, room for people's vulnerabilities, but just so I feel like I'm cheating this question. I feel like also that is his biggest weakness. you know, because it keeps him coming back to Lestat. It keeps him understanding, forgiving, even when he's caught in his lies, and he still is like, well, that's life. I got no other options, right? He feels resigned to the only thing in front of him, the only thing he knows. So he makes it work. And that's where things are not really working well for him. You know, he's a little too forgiving. But I do think that's probably his most positive trait as well, and his unwillingness to hurt other people. Like, he's so against that he, out of the three of them, he is still trying to avoid eating people or feeding off of them. But Claudia, though, most positive strength, I think, in her is her individualism. She does not want to be beholden to anybody else. She was given this second chance at life, and she is not wanting to waste it. She is not one to be under anyone's thumb. She is a ball of fire, and she, you know, as much as she's there for Louis, she's not also like submitting or laying into these, you know, in the way that Lestat, like Louis will, you know, kind of like concede to make things easier on everybody. She won't do that. She's unrelenting. She's unmoving. Sometimes that's an issue. It definitely bumps up against both of them in the way that Lestat wants her to. And Louis, you know, I don't know. It's just like, she's such an individual. She's such a standout. Whereas the other ones, you know, she's always at odds with Lestat, because she bumps into his control, his version of all of this. And Louis wants to just there to be peace, and he doesn't want that conflict, but that conflict is always happening. Yeah, she's kind of like the antithesis to both of them in a lot of ways. What is her most negative character trait, though? Because I unlike the other two, I don't think that it's the same for her. Like, where this trait is both the most positive and the most negative. I do think that there's a little more to her. I'm just trying to think, though, of what that might be. What would be the negative? I think because of all of that, her impulsiveness, there's a lot less forethought. She's a little more impulsive. I think that's what it is. I think her most negative character trait, maybe not so much right now, but it's impulse. But I think that comes with that fire that does push her forward. So where she is very much so individualistic, she is not, she does not bend or break easy. On the flip side of that, though, she does run headfirst into things without thought at times. She's gotten better at it, though. I think that that's one thing that came with her immaturity, and I do think that's something that she's kind of worked through, because I didn't really see a whole lot of that in this. I think in this, it was just underestimating Lestat in this episode, and she is done doing that. So I don't know. I'll probably go with that for right now, because I honestly can't think of anything better at the moment. We got Izzy here. What do you think of Lestat's vulnerability when describing how he was turned? Do you believe him? Do you think this parallels Claudia's turning / life in any way? I think it parallels it in the way that he's also trying to, like, maintain control and emulation and over his creations of the way that his master did, but in the way that Claudia is rebelling up against that and the way that she's presuming he did. I think that's where it all, you know, some people just, they're just not going to be controlled. And I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the specifics of what he described is probably true. And because I could see that also kind of feeding into the way he is. He's vain. He loves himself. He thinks so highly of himself. And there is almost an illusion, like we've talked about before, to this idea of putting on and presenting as well read or educated or high society or whatever we wants to think about himself, about presenting in a way that makes him seem godlike or amiable or knowledgeable, well-read, intelligent, cultured. That's the word. And the way that Louis called him out on, kind of the way he fakes it is the way that this guy was like looking for a specific looking person that fit the way that he wanted them to look. And he just kept going through them until he found the one that had the other stuff. They all look the same, or at least similar. And he was looking for the one that had the actual personality, that full package, to turn that person, which is almost the way that Lestat described the way he had been hunting and finally found Louis. But then you enter the difficulties of him actually grooming him into the vampire he wanted him to be, where it just kind of, it's the same thing. He's just repeating his own abuses upon the person next in line for him. So I do believe it's very true, but I think the way that he's probably presented it is not as heart-wrenching as he's maybe making it seem. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. At this point, I think he can lie his way out of anything, and I find it very difficult to find anything he says be true, because he can sell anything. He's lived a long life. He's a man of the arts. I would not put it past him to be a good actor. So I don't know. It fits also with his feigned cultureness. He might be able to he could probably talk himself a lie that sounds perfectly poignant to his life experience and what they know of him. So I don't know. It's hard to say whether or not what he said is true or not. I believe there is sprinkles of truth baked within something he was coloring it just so that they would feel sympathy. I don't buy that that's exactly how it happened, though, I will say. But I do think he's perpetuating that very same cycle onto them in the way that he's talked about Louis from episode 1 until now. And then Claudia is just him in this position where his master was put, pressing down, trying to get them under his thumb. And she's like, well, there's no way he didn't kill him, right? Otherwise, he'd still be in that situation. And now he's had it control taken away from him, and he's regaining that control through perpetuating the cycle himself, making himself the master of the situation, making him the one at the head of the table, head of the food chain here. And now Claudia is him in that situation, about to bite back against him. Not going to settle down in that. Louis may have, for a long time, definitely may have, but she was not going to do that, which again is why they don't get along so well, because I think they are so much alike in a lot of ways. And then finally, we have Nightcrawler 247. So interesting fact in the book, vampires are actually impotent. Also, I wanted to ask, could you see yourself taking Lestat back in Louis' position, staying even after realizing it's even more miserable than before? Louis literally contemplating, what did he call it? Self-murdering himself before leaving Lestat. Oh, just before Lestat wait, hold up. I'm trying to make sure I'm reading this right. Louis was contemplating self-murdering himself before just leaving Lestat before. Okay, that's why I was messing me up in my head. Okay. When I'm reading these questions with mild dyslexia, man, it could really fuck me up sometimes. So I have to make sure sometimes I have to reread a couple things multiple times to get through it all. But no, I think regardless of all of it, like you said, there is like this other air to it, this almost romanticized, oh, he's my lover, I hate him, but he's my maker, like all of this tug of war of all these things. But I'm like, at the end of the day, dude's a motherfucker. He can't be trusted. He's only in this to satisfy his own shit, and he's infinitely patient. So whatever he's got to do to get a modicum of control back over the situation, he will play that game. He will play that role, hoping you'll fall hook, line, and sinker for it and just go right back into the same thing again. I would say fuck off with that. I understand, though, from Louis' position and with his demeanor, his sensibilities, he just doesn't have the energy for that to really go into that. And he's very woesome. So I can see why he's leaning in that direction. I think I would just be a spitting ball of fire and be like, fuck you. I'm sorry. I would not take him crawling back after all of these different little things. Hell no. I would definitely not. He could go kiss my ass. I'm going to go vamp off somewhere else, as it appears Louis eventually inevitably does. You know, I don't know. Anyway, fun questions, man. This is it's such a juicy series to really dive into the ins and outs of all these characters, their dynamics, their push and pull. And it's hard to really kind of hit the nail on the head exactly with a lot of them, which is why it's so fun. Because people are not, you know, there's our examples of people acting certain ways. And there's some people that are like very, very similar. You know, that's why personality profiles exist. You know, there's a lot, you know, people are, even down to our personalities are very machine-like, but there are nuances. There are, people's experiences are very different. And as much as we can relate them to other things, not everything's going to line up one-to-one. So it's fun to really kind of navigate all of this. And again, this is just my interpretation of these characters. Sure that we've got other reads for them along the way as well, but yeah, that's where I'm going to pass it off to you. I'm having a fun roller coaster ride with this show, man. It's wild. And the way that it can pivot from heartbreaking to funny to monstrous on a dime is great. And sometimes both at the same time with that scene with Lestat on the train. Yeah, fantastic stuff, man. But that all said, I've been rambling enough on this one, man. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you. What do you guys think? How do you feel about this episode and everything that we saw happen in this? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If it did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if not already. Or if you want to see the full reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out Lily Chanson, Kiana Chanel, McGreg, Angela Burr, Calvin Burley, Sleepy Bastard, Theodore Wolf, and Amy Becca. Thank you guys so much for becoming saviors here on the channel, helping sponsors support the rescues. I'm going to take care of at the office. You guys have been a tremendous help with all of that. Thank you guys so much. And as always, we give a huge special thank you to all of our channel legends. You and the patrons allow us to do so much of what we do over here, like shows like this, getting the editing done, getting help with all of that, because it is a lot between all the shows that we cover. You help us keep up with as much of it as we can as possible, as well as getting around those copyright claims and strikes and stuff like that, because when those happen, it can be a little bit of a pain point on the channel. So we want to bring, at the end of the day, as much of this we can to you guys here on YouTube, and you guys allow us to do that. And huge shout out to you guys here over on the YouTube side of things, because without y'all, we would not be here. But that's this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.